everyone. It's time for math again. It's been kind of exciting the last little while since we have been out of school, hasn't it? Hopefully everybody's fine and you realize that we're all safe and that everything's okay. And I will probably be posting a little science segment about earthquakes just for those of you that are interested. There'll be some interesting information. You probably already talked about it with your family. But I just wanted to say that before we get started with our math. So for today, we are on Unit 5, and it is lesson number 7. And it's called Solve, Put Together, Take Apart, and Compare Problems. So we are going to use graphs to solve problems. We are going to have to look at the information to see what we need to do. So the page numbers that we are going to go over today are 287, 288. Then we have a puzzled penguin. Oh, I got that one twisted around. Puzzled penguin's on page 289. And then there's just a organizing graph information page that you'll get to do pretty much on your own. Because if we had just been in class, I'd be having you do that on your own anyhow. That's on page 290. But first, if you have not yet, would you please go and watch the video on bar graphs? Do that first. It is a video that will take you to YouTube. Make sure you have your parents' permission and do that first. And then after you have watched that, then come back to this spot in the video. So we are going to go along with the lesson. So the name of our graph, it is called Animals at the Wildlife Park. So at the wildlife park, there are lions and bears and tigers and monkeys. So the first thing I want you to think, what's the first thing that I do with this graph? Think about what we've been talking about. And even before that, I want you to think, okay, what do I do? So we've looked at the title. We see the numbers here at the bottom. We see the names on the side. Is that telling me it is a horizontal graph or is it a vertical graph? I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about it. And remember, let me just give you a clue. Remember in class we've always said horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical. Horizontal is when you're laying in your bed. Vertical is when you get up and you stand up. And that's vertical, horizontal, vertical. So you can clearly see that this graph is a horizontal graph. So right now, I want you to fill in the amount of how many lions, bears, tigers, and monkeys there are. I'm going to do the same on mine, and I'm not going to show you till you do yours first. So remember to look at the numbers down at the bottom, and then write down how many you see from reading the graph. I'm going to give you just a little bit because I don't want to give it away yet. So I'm not going to turn around. I want to give you a chance to hurry and do that because we can't use the bar graph to solve the problems until we have read the bar graph. And that's why we put the numbers there. So yours should have looked like this. So we have 5 lions, 4 bears, 2 tigers, and 6 monkeys. Now those numbers are going to be important for us as we try and figure out this information. So if we look at number 1, number 1 says 4 of the monkeys are adults and the rest are babies. How many of the monkeys are babies? So I want you to think, am I going to add or subtract to figure this out? So how many monkeys did we have first? That's what we have to remember. So you think, how many monkeys did I have first? Now out of all of those monkeys, 4 of them are adults and the rest are babies. So how many of the monkeys are babies? So remember to ask yourself, do I have a total? Well, let's do a math mountain. Those math mountains always help us a lot, don't they? So we do have the total, and the total goes at the top, right? So we can put the total at the top of our math mountain. And so we are looking for a missing addend. So remember that down below, you will put down that we don't know how many babies, but we do know that there are 4 grown-ups or adults. So that's what your math mountain should look like. Exactly like that. Now you should be able to write your problem. Are we adding or subtracting? Think about it. Are we adding or subtracting? Well, you should know by now, if we have a total already and we are looking for the missing addend, that means we are, dun 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 dun, I wish you could all tell me right now, you know we are subtracting. So you should have done this. 6 subtract 4 equals box, had your subtraction equation. And I'm not going to give you the answer. I just want you to put it down because all of these papers you need to keep track of because you're going to be handing them in to me. So hopefully there will be a day next week into our second week of this that I can give you, maybe you can drop off the papers that you've already done at school and I will have new ones for you to take home. So I'm not going to give you the answer on a lot of these because that would not be helping you learn anything, would it? You need to learn. So, okay, let's look at number 2. Number 2 says, how many fewer bears are there than monkeys? So first we have to come up here. We know that there are 4 bears and 6 monkeys. So they want to know how many fewer bears are there than monkeys. So, what are you going to do? You have to decide. What are you going to do? Is this an add to or a take apart problem? So I need you to think about that. How many fewer? And remember, fewer doesn't mean a big amount or a smaller amount. We've talked a lot about this year, and we know that fewer means the smaller amount. So how many fewer bears are there than monkeys? So all you have to do, oh, I bet, I can see people raising their hand already. I can see Max raising his hand, or Luke back there raising his hand, or Riley over there, or Analia over there. So it's like, I know you guys are there. In my mind, I'm seeing you raising your hands. So this is a subtraction problem, isn't it? So again, you should have your math mountain. And we know that there were 6 monkeys again. Oh my word. Do you know what's going to happen here? Oh, so we're trying to figure out how many fewer. So again, it's going to look very similar to the one that we did before with our math mountain. So basically, you're going to have the same equation. So see the equation there? You're going to write it down there again. Hopefully you're going to have the same problem. Just make sure that you have the correct label. And how do we know if we have the correct label? You should have underlined the question. What is it asking for? Oh, but there's a secret here. I'm going to box that word, that important information. Can you see the box that what word I put a box around? It was fewer. So when you write down your answer, are you just going to write down bears? Or are you going to write down, I'm not telling you. You've got to come up with it on your own. Okay, I'll give you a minute to quickly finish putting all that information down. And then I want you to look at number 3. This one's a little bit harder, okay? This is the one that, oh, we'll read it and we'll see what you say. But I'll tell you in a minute. There are 2 fewer lions, there's that fewer again, than elephants. How many elephants are there? Okay, I want you to think for a minute. Okay, it says in the problem that there are 2 fewer lions than elephants. So we have to decide, what are we going to use to help us figure this problem out? This problem's kind of tricky. There's one kind of proof drawing that will help us figure this out. And it starts with a C. Compare. Did you figure it out? Comparison bars, right? So you need to write your comparison bars over here. And remember, next to your oval, you always write more or fewer. See where it says more or fewer? Because we have to decide about the more or the fewer. Okay? What did the problem say again? There are 2 fewer lions than elephants. So guess what? We know that it's not going to be more. It's going to be fewer, and we know there are 2. So that's what we put in our comparison bar, remember? So where are we going to put the lions? Are we putting the lions in this box or this box? Well, it said there were 2 fewer lions than elephants. So we know that the lions will go on the bottom, and we know that there were 5, and then we'll put an E up here for elephants, and that's where the question mark goes, right there. Okay? Now, that's all I'm going to help you with. At this point, you need to do the rest of the problem on your own. Okay? Since there are fewer lions than elephants, there must be more elephants than lions. Now remember how we look at a comparison bar like a math mountain. And if 2 addends are always on the bottom of a math mountain and the total is always here at the top, then it's the same thing here. Let me show you that again. Remember, we've done that before together when we've done our problems. There's our math mountain, even though we're using comparison bars. Okay, figure that out. I'm not going to help you with that. I'm going to let you figure the rest of that out. Then we're going to go through the rest of our pages so you can do some of this on your own. If you need to stop the video right now, you can. And then come back, because then we're going to work through page 288 together. Or just go over it a little bit. This one is called Solve Word Problems with More Than One Step. So we are going to be doing 2-step problems. We have done 2-step problems before. So you're going to use both the information from the problems and the information in the graph to help you solve your problem. So you're going to use the information here, and you're going to use the information that's actually in the problem. So remember, first we look at our graph, decide, is it horizontal or is it vertical? As you can see, numbers are on this side and the names are on the bottom, and we see the bars going from the bottom up to the top. So that means, of course, that it is vertical. If you said that. Right now, you need to go ahead and put the numbers at the top of each of the bars. I'll do that on mine too. And when yours done, yours should look like mine. So it should look like that. Okay. Now remember what I said just like about a minute ago. When we are figuring out these problems, we're going to use the information that we find here and also the information that we find here to help us find our answers. So we have to make sense of the problem, and then we have to analyze the problem. That means we have to think about it. What is it asking of us? What is it trying to say? And since these problems have more than one step, you have to think about what is the hidden question. I'm going to write that over here just to make sure you remember. What is the hidden question? And I want you to write this down on your paper too. So write this down on your paper too. What is the hidden question? So I need everybody to write that down on their paper, okay? So you're going to write that down on your paper. And we're only going to do one of these together because we're already about 16 minutes into this. I don't want to bore you, even though this would be really short math time at this point, right? So we're not even through the whole thing yet, but write that down. What is the hidden question? We always have to know that. So the first problem says, follow along on your paper, says Jenny has 4 fewer purple beads than Morgan. How many purple beads do Jenny and Morgan have in all? So do you remember when we used to do the problems where we'd have to say first step, second step, and we labeled it that way? Well, I'm showing you this right now. Remember how we boxed that first sentence. Notice how I circled our number, put a box around the word fewer, and wrote down first step. Before we can do anything, we have to figure out that first thing. Jenny has 4 fewer beads than Morgan. So what is the hidden question? How many beads does what? Does Morgan have, or Jenny have? That's what we have to figure out first. Okay? That's our hidden question. So we have to figure that out first. So if Jenny has 4 fewer purple beads than Morgan, we have to figure out how many Morgan has. Okay, so Jenny says that she had 6. Okay, we know that she has 6, but Jenny has 4 fewer than Morgan. So on the first step, I think we're going to do another comparison bar. What do you guys think? I'm going to just put M or F for more or fewer. So do we have our number for more or fewer? Well, it said Jenny has 4 fewer. So I would say we do. So we could put 4 and then circle the F for fewer like we have there. And then there's that number. It said Jenny has 4 fewer purple beads than Morgan. So we can say that this is Jenny and this is Morgan. So we can put, hi Morgan, we're talking about you. So we can put 6 there. So we don't know how many Morgan has. So our first step is a comparison bar. So you have to figure out that answer. So look here, are we looking for a total? Or are we looking for a missing addend? Well, we should all know what that means, right? We are missing the total. So if we have 2 numbers down here that are addends and we're looking for a total, that means we need to, what class? Scream really loud, maybe I can hear you. What are we doing? We're looking for a total, so we need to add, right? We're adding. So on the first step, 6 plus 4 was 10. Now, we have got that number 10, right? Now we can answer how many purple beads do Jenny and Morgan have in all. So we know Morgan has 10. right? Jenny has 6. So the second step, remember it's important to label these so you keep track of everything. So we're going to put down 10 for Morgan plus 6 for Jenny equals box. So have your number sentence right there. See, and I put an M right underneath the 10 to show for Morgan. And I put a 6 or a J under the 6. See, when I'm looking at the screen right now, it's backwards. When you look at it, it doesn't. But so I'm kind of going, But, yeah. Now you have your answer. And then make sure that your label goes along with how many purple beads. So your label would be purple beads. So this is how you do a 2-step problem. Okay, I'm going to let you try to figure out the next 2 of the 2-step problems on your own. Now, if you need to show this, if mom and dad are watching, they can see how we do first step and then we do the second step to figure this all out. So going along, I'm going to show you what you're going to do next on your math problem. We have Puzzle Penguin. He is reading about children's favorite snacks. So that's a subject you guys like. Hopefully you are still having snack time. Are you still having snack time? I'm sure you are. Probably a lot. You are having snack time a lot during the day, huh? So I want you to look carefully at how Puzzle Penguin solved the problem. So this is what he did to solve the problem. But you know Puzzle Penguin always does something wrong. So you have to be the one to figure out what did Puzzle Penguin do wrong. So you are going to, down here below, you are going to show Puzzle Penguin how you would solve the problem. So the things that you're going to need down here, you're going to have to redo the comparison bar over here correctly and have a number sentence over here correctly. And you know what? He probably maybe didn't read the graph right. I'm going to let you figure that out. And then for a lot of fun on the back, it's called Organize and Graph Information. Here are some shapes for you to graph. First, you're going to fill out the table. Remember that both your table and your bar graph have the same title. I wonder what you could call these. Maybe something that's spelled S-H-A-P-E-S, which is shapes. Okay, good title since these are shapes. So you're going to put your title, and first you're going to count these and then fill out your information here. Make sure that you put the names of all the different shapes, count them, and then put the numbers. Then you are going to fill the numbers out. Remember, does this look like it's a vertical or a horizontal graph? That's what you have to figure out, and I'm not going to tell you. But you're going to figure it out, and then you'll make your graph. Okay, that was today's math lesson. I know it was a little bit long. I hope that you're enjoying doing the things that I'm putting up there, that you are listening to the chapters from Little House in the Big Woods. I think the book that we're going to be reading next is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I think. That's the number one on my list because I'm ready to read a fantasy book. Because we read like a book, a realistic fiction, basically a biography of somebody's life. And then we're going to do the other. Make sure that you're doing your science lessons. And I will be on Google Classroom as much as I can, answering questions and just saying hi. I miss you guys so much. I hope that we'll get to see each other sooner rather than later. If not, what I'm trying to do is figure out a way to arrange a time when we'll all be able to get on live together and chat. There are 2 different ways I'm looking at. When I figure it out, I'll send out an email to mom and dad so they can help you get on, and then we can see everybody's face. That will be fun instead of just mine. Yay! So keep calm and just keep staying inside or go out for a walk with mom and dad, but be safe and know that I miss you, and I will see you later. Bye.